Hey friends, I'm Aubrey and this is Crybaby Seminole Homestead. And as I'm ending my workday and on my way home, I was just pondering and pulled over because I wanted to talk to you. So there are a lot of things on our plates. There's a lot of work, there's a lot of frustration and bills and all kinds of things that we're all trying to juggle. Times can be hard, and actually times are getting harder. I would like you to be ready. And I'm saying this to myself at the same time I'm saying it to you because I'm by no means 100% prepared for what's coming. And I'm talking about inflation, rising costs of things, and other possibilities that may never happen, hopefully never will. But to be prepared for the future and the unknown, so you have to be prepared for a variety of different things. I feel like we should all try to do something every week that is making us ready for whatever could happen. I also would like to challenge those of you who are already prepping that you can do more. Okay. So I would specifically say that if you're not already prepping, that I would like to challenge you to invest $25 a week into being prepared for whatever happens in the future. And it shouldn't be, wasted funds. This should be towards things that you're actually going to use in the future. You're just basically getting them ahead of time. Okay? So every week you're going to do $25 ahead of time. If that makes sense. So, for instance, you might do $25 of grocery shopping ahead of time. So you'd buy your normal groceries, spend $25 extra on shelf-stable foods that you can use down the road should you need them or when you need them. And then make sure that you use those items, but every week, $25 extra on something. So I will tell you that we had a freezer go out on us and everything in the freezer went bad. It was a full, huge freezer unit and it was stocked. And we had just stocked it up and the freezer went out. We didn't know about what happened to it until like 2 days later, and all the food perished. So I'm not talking about freezer foods. I'm talking about rice, beans, the basics, but also things like pasta and marinara sauce and things that you would normally use in your cooking, things that you like and enjoy, and just grab a few extra items every time you go to the store. Focus on calorie dense and nutritionally dense foods and products as well. Feminine hygiene, toilet paper, paper towels. Now don't go buy all of them. Like once a month, buy more than you need, right? Buy what you normally do and a little bit extra of something. And really think about those basics, okay? You can also count towards seeds. So in one of my previous videos, I was talking about gardening seeds. And so maybe one week you spend $10 at Baker Creek and get a free seed packet from them. And then one week you spend $10, $15 at My Gardener. And you do that a couple times a month. You're going to have your seed stash good to go for your garden next summer, next spring. And then if I only spent $10 on seeds this week, I would spend the other $15 on some other kind of basics. Like if you like canned chili, canned chicken, whatever you like. Okay. Check the expiration dates and try to get something that's going to be good for a year or more, at least a year or more, and then have a rotation system so that when you go to your cupboard, the thing that's expiring the soonest is the first thing you see. And start to change your mind frame from what do you feel like eating tonight to what should we eat first based on the items that are going to expire the soonest. That's how we have to kind of change our mentality. And then if you absolutely have no money, like none, and no income or low, very, very low income, then do things that don't cost anything. One way of being prepared if you're on very low income is to just be very organized. Make sure your food doesn't spoil because you have a rotation system. Make sure things don't get wasted. Like prepackage your meals. If you work away, then you take your things with you. You're not wasting money on eating out. You're saving that money because you have packed your lunch. Or, knowing where things are so you don't have to buy it a second time. And those pennies might eventually add up to something that you could put towards saving more and buying something that you can add to your preps. The message I'm trying to share with you today is that you don't have to go into debt to be prepared. And I'm not recommending that you waste money. I'm recommending that you buy things before you would have bought it. So you're basically buying the things earlier. You're going to use them. You're not buying more basically in the long run. You're not buying more than you would have. You're just buying it sooner than you would have. Also, like for your vehicles, if you have a vehicle, and I would say pretend that your gas tank, when it's half full, is empty. So you're always going to go to get to the gas station and fill up your gas. But you are going to go when you don't need it, just for the convenience of knowing that you never have an empty tank. I understand that we all can't afford luxuries, but if you're driving to work on a daily, then you do need to have gas in your vehicle no matter what anyway. So it'll save you money in the long run to not let your car run out of fuel. I can tell you, when I was a young person and I was first driving, I would drive on fumes. And my car broke down a couple times because of that. And I had to get fuel filters replaced because of the damage I did to my vehicles, because I wasn't keeping them full. And I would go to the gas station, very low income because I was going to college and paying for everything myself. But I would go with quarters and coins, and it was embarrassing. I would pay for my gas in change, actual metal change. And that was difficult. And I understand keeping your tank full is challenging. If you can just pretend that half a tank is empty, then you won't be abusing your vehicle, right? It'll last longer. You won't have as many maintenance repairs. You will reduce the risk of having an emergency, being broken down on the side of the road, having to call AAA or call a tow truck, which is also more money. So you're going to save a lot of money by pretending your fuel tank is half full. That half full is empty. Okay? And getting just $25 extra per week if you can handle that, or buying something sooner than you actually need it. If you consider how many times you go back and forth to the store, a lot of people go to a grocery store multiple times a week. So if you can narrow that down to just going once a week, you will buy less frivolous items, less impulsive items. Go with a list. Go once a week and spend $25 extra on what you're going to need for the next week. Okay? And then also making those meal prep plans where you're thinking about, okay, well, I'm going to, get these items. And if you're able to organize yourself so that you're not going back and forth to the store, you're also saving money on gas, and you're saving your time, which your time is valuable, right? So I know that prepping can be very intimidating. It can be overwhelming to get started. And I just really want people, and a lot of people who are following my channel are friends and family and people in my community. And those of you who have been with me for, a couple months, or I'm at a year now on YouTube. Some of you have been with me for a year. And so I consider this a community, or almost like a club. And I worry about people and making sure that if I know something, that I don't want somebody else to suffer for it. If I don't share it, then I'm being selfish. So I feel and I could be wrong, I feel like we're going to go into some really hard times. And I don't want to keep that like a secret to myself. And I know it's not super mainstream to be prepper. And I'm by no means am like done. I'm like not done. I am not like the expert on prepping, but I can tell you that I'm observant and I'm noticing some things I'm really concerned about. And I don't want anyone to go hungry or to suffer. And I will say, even like, it doesn't have to just be actual prepping items. Like, for instance, I think it was last year or the year before, we keep talking about trade with China. And I hope that that never is really interrupted, because we do rely on them for so much, from like pharmaceutical items, car, vehicle parts, everything, cell phone parts. And I mean, everything we have, it's like everything says made in China. So I really hope that's never interrupted and that we are able to smooth things over and find peace. But if trade was interrupted, would you have presents for your kids for Christmas? And that's something a couple years ago. I've always tried to buy things and take advantage of bargains ahead of time, because a lot of times you'll see a sale after Christmas or after a certain thing, and I'll pick up the things on sale for the next year. That's a great way to save a lot of money, and those pennies add up. I understand you have to have them at the moment, but those savings add up, right? So if you get like, sometimes they'll be like 90% off, 70% off, 90% off, because it's right after a holiday. Well, you get those Christmas items from, the day after Christmas from this year, and you save it for the next year. And you have to have some kind of storage and some kind of organization to have those things and know where they are. So I understand all those troubles and everything. One thing I used to do when my older kids were little, was I found that they were invited to a lot of birthday parties. And I would spend almost every other weekend running around to 2 or 3 other stores. Let's go to the Dollar Tree. Let's get gift bags and tissue papers and cards. And then let's run over to Ross or Marshall's or Target or whatever and buy a present. But if you have a tote that has birthday cards, wrapping paper, tissue paper, little baggies, then you don't have to run to the store. And that's saving on gas. I also would have like a little stash of little presents that I would find on a good deal. And I mean, some of the things were from the Dollar Tree, but I'd also have gift cards. And so I was like, if my kids told me at the last moment, hey, Mom, we have a birthday party to go to, it's tomorrow, or it's in 30 minutes. And my friend really likes Pokemon, whatever. Then I would go, okay, well, there's a Pokemon birthday card in the box. Grab that. Here's a little, red, gift bag, some tissue paper, white tissue paper to go with that, because it's a color scheme. And here's a gift card to whatever store. So you have all these little knickknacks, whatever, little toys and stuff in there, but then you have a gift card. So it would save us a trip to the store. And I saved so much time by having that. I also saved money, because whenever I would bring my kids to the store with me, they'd always see something that they wanted. So by having like a basket all ready to go, and I just keep it in one of my hallway linen closet. Never had enough linen to fill it up. But I'd have like a tote in there of like random presents for kids. And now you could also do that, with gift cards for adults. Adults don't really usually care about having an item, but you can actually pre-make things too, if you like to be a crafter and so forth. I like to crochet, and I can make hats and scarves, and those make really good Christmas presents. So I'd have a container, and I would fill it up with all of my handmade gifts, and then I would just be able to put those together when the time is good. So I'm being prepared ahead of time for those types of things, saving money, gas, and you take that money and that time and you put it into preparing. So every little bit helps. Saving your gas, saving your time, saving your money, and then applying those savings towards something tangible. If you're super like strict with your budget right now, there's like not a penny to spare, you can work on your skills. YouTube is a great place for that, where you can research different ways of doing things. How do you collect water? How do you purify water? How can you cook food without electricity outside? What if you don't have propane for your barbecue? How do you do these things? So if there's a week where you're like, I can't do $25 this week, then work on a skill. Make a list of the skills that you think that you need. Make a list of the things that you think could be happening that you need to prepare for. Job loss is something that could happen to anybody. Most states are at will, which means they can fire you for no reason, or any reason, or no reason. And who knows how long welfare and food stamps and unemployment, how long those systems are going to be in place. And there's a lot of times a long waiting period in between. So when you have an emergency, whether it's something like a job loss or medical issues or whatever, there's usually a really uncomfortable time period in between the event and when there's a resolution. And are you ready for that? So I don't want anyone to suffer. I don't want any of my friends and family. I feel kind of embarrassed sometimes talking about prepping because it's not super mainstream. It should be more mainstream, because for millions of years, human beings have been preppers, kind of like little pack rats, preparing for winter, having a winter larder, having a pantry, canning, and all those kinds of things. I haven't done that yet. I haven't canned. I'm kind of scared. I'm a little bit intimidated, but I'm thinking about either joining like some kind of like take a class with my community if they ever offer something like that, or I bought some of the materials for it, but I don't want to be experimenting when I have to be canning my food. Like, I want to learn those skills when it's still I'm interested in this thing, not when my life depends on it. And I think that I'd like to share that with you guys. So please, be thoughtful. If you think of like, you eat out somewhere and it costs $80, don't eat out that time. Spend $80 on things that you can make at home. There are pennies to be pinched. We can pinch those pennies and then make them go farther. Okay. I really feel the economy is going to get worse before it gets better. So do what you can. Comment below what can you do to be prepared for whatever you think might be happening next. Do you think there are serious issues? Is it all in my mind? Well, if it is in my mind, I'm not the only one. There are preppers around the entire world, in every single country, and it's amazing how many there are. So you might want to take a look at some of their videos as well, what they're doing, how they're rotating their items, and being prepared for what's coming next. God bless you all. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and comment below. Take care, everybody. Remember, $25 this week. Do one thing per week to be prepared. $25 of prepping per week. God bless you.